We've forgotten sometimes, I think, that we are part of nature. So what we do to the world around us, we are doing totally to ourselves. We can't go on, I think, equivocating on this and just expect us to test the world ultimately to destruction before you can prove that you have destroyed it. It is climate change. We've got to come together as a world on this. I feel very strongly that we have to develop an approach which, by putting nature at the center of the whole process, what profit we make, we have to also make a profit for nature by putting something back. So my and your children and grandchildren can have some kind of reasonable future. At the moment, we are literally compromising it. We can't go on, now with all the ice cap melting completely. I mean, this is terrifying to me. It always has been. It was really from the 1960s onwards when suddenly all sorts of things were being abandoned left, right, and center. I remember watching in horror as hedgerows were grubbed up and trees were cut down, and all the marvelous places I'd known when I was young, the wildflower meadows and the wetland areas and so on, were being ploughed up, because it was supposed to be more efficient and productive. It upset me deeply because it seemed to me it was all going too far, too fast. And if you go too far one way, inevitably there has to become a moment when you have to rebalance it.
The race in which we are all engaged now is to restore harmony to the forces of nature.
But suddenly, because of the challenges we're now finding hitting us in the face and the huge problems we've created, there's become an interest in these issues. I've spent a lot of effort over my lifetime trying to bring people around the table to focus on how can we more rapidly decarbonize each industry, make the transition necessary, and actually find a much better way of doing things. Everything in nature, it's a finite resource. There's only a certain amount within the planetary boundary that we operate in. And the trouble now is that through this whole approach partly to convenience, we've forgotten that we have to live within the planetary boundaries. We have to make a real integrated global effort. At the moment, we've so degraded natural systems, ecosystems, biodiversity, that it's becoming increasingly impossible for nature to sustain us. At the moment, it's all take. Now we've reached the situation where we really need 4 planets like Earth to survive or to provide enough for everybody. And there is a better world out there. We can operate our industries far better. There is real hope, but we've just got to get our act together. And we've got to remember that the natural world is what sustains us.